Good morning. I'm Victoria Savage, Nurse Savage on your side, your wisdom guided oracle, and we're having coffee, my beautiful flower mug. Blue theme today. Apparently, I have a blue theme a lot. The chiropractor the other day said, do you like blue? Everything I had on was blue. It's not intentional, just what attracts me when I'm out looking for goodies. So, how is everyone? We around here are still on fire. Everything around us is on fire. It is just pretty heartbreaking. I do know that forests do benefit from that. Sometimes they have to clear out. Many of the seeds in the forest for trees need heat in order to sprout. But so much of the land where we love to go and play outside is burning up. So last night I watched the debate. It turned out better than I thought it would. I'm not going to mention either side because it really doesn't matter in all of this. The lies, the deception from each side is that higher control that wants to stay in power and wants to keep you in fear and confusion and chaos. And gotta say, they're doing a pretty good job of it. So, how do we manage our own energy? How do we stay out of the fear, the chaos? This time of year for me is always a little melancholy, just the ending of summer, the beginning of fall, the dying off of things. I love it, but it will always bring me to this kind of melancholy state. And then on these years when we have elections, I tend to maybe fall a little bit more into the melancholy because there is so much energy in the collective of heightened emotions and reactivity. And this year is probably 10 times worse than the last couple of elections. So, how do we navigate it? How do we stay in a place that isn't fearful and isn't um, bitey and angry and reactive? Good question. So the first card that came up is from the Mystical Shaman Oracle, which I just love. This is by Colette Baron Reed and Alberto Violdo. And the first card that comes up is the Blade. And the blade is cutting through and not playing around and being wishy-washy. This is a straightforward, this is what you want to do. You want to cut through and ask your angels, guides, companions. That's really the best way to walk in the world. And we all have the right and the ability to call on our specific angels, guides, and companions. You don't have to know their name. You don't have to know their characteristics. They are always there. And when you call on them, I'm open, I'm willing, I'm ready, guide me. They step in to give you inklings and awarenesses and new ways of seeing things just by changing perspectives a bit, tapping you on the shoulder when things that are going to help you in your path to living more in peace inside and internally, being that harbinger of a higher vibration in the world. And that's really what we want to be. Number one, it feels really good inside us, much better than being in the fray of all this chaos and nitpicking and backbiting. And just as I mentioned, that debate was a whole lot better than I expected it would be, a whole lot better than past ones have been. Was more civil, less because they'd controlled the mics for at least a period of time. I felt they did a better job than what they've done in the past. So we have to, I mean, lies on both sides, absolutely. Deception, fear mongering, yes, all of it was there. But it is up to me how I take it in and how I travel with it. And it is up to you. No one else can do this for us. We, the light holders, the light bringers, want to maintain this higher vibration, inviting our angels, guides, and companions in to help us navigate, especially these next few months, is going to be key. We are the ones that are forcing the darkness out. that dark power that has had control in our world for thousands of years now, that hierarchy where the top down, there's a few that have all, and the rest of us have some of a little bit. And I'm not talking about materialistic things, although that has been the focus in the world for many thousands of years. More is better. I need to have more, because they're looking for their spiritual grounding, and they're never going to find it in the things and in the money and in the more of everything. It is found in the heart. And so we want to stay in our heart. For the love of dragons has come up. And the first card is, well, interesting. I'm going to read this one, the fire bearer. We got a lot of that going on here. So let's see what the dragons have to say about the fire bearer. And I need my glasses. The fire bearer is number 19. Fire is your friend right now. Whether you need a spark of inspiration, a flame of determination, the blazes of anger, or the fire of transformation, this moment is about what needs to burn. Do not be afraid to let yourself embody your own passion. Let yourself be ignited. Heat is necessary for alchemy, and now is the time for you to let the fire have its way with you and your present circumstance. Change is on the horizon, and any dragon knows fire is the companion of change. You know, we're certainly seeing it in the physical world around us, but in our personal life, you know, it is easy for me to be thrown into fear and being put on hold. Fear, you know, I used to tell people, yeah, I'm not a worrier. I don't worry. It's not my thing. My kids would leave the house. I just trusted that everybody was going to be fine. However, I was in fear and can still be pulled into that pretty easily, of the future and what's going to happen and how I need to be trying to manage that. I know I've carried into this lifetime the energy of starvation, the energy of lack, the energy of not enough, which many of us have. And so for me, that, you know, being a warrior was trying to manage that possibility in my future and keeping it at bay. And so it is a continuous process for me to choose to trust and to focus on all the good I do have, focus on abundance and prosperity and peace, and trusting that that will continue on and I will be able to handle whatever comes, and staying in the peace right now. And the truth is, that's where the present is the most powerful. Right now, it's amazing for me. Right now, I have a home. I have everything I need. I have food. I have a companion. You know, my husband is very supportive. I have amazing children and grandchildren. I have nothing to be fearful about, not one single thing. And yet I am easily pulled to that. And this whole media thing wants to keep us there. So we want to consciously invite the angels, companions, guides in to help us navigate the now and keep our vibrations higher. The next dragon card that came in, I love this, the Watcher, because I love the little owl there. Just very fierce, a little tiny one, but he's watching, man. What is the Watcher about? Tie away from the minutia of to get an expansive view. And I've talked a little bit more about this. This is about being the observer in your life. When you are asked to be given the observer view, you're taken out of the fray and out of the everyday tumultuous chaos that is going on. And you're able to see the bigger picture, the higher picture of it all. Are your plans too meager? Is your vision too small? Are you breathing a little and calling it a life? Use your meditation space to climb up to the 10,000 foot view and take in the expanse of your life. Decide your next move based on the vantage point. And the Firebringer was about stepping into the power, not being fearful about it. And now we have the Watcher going, get that higher expansion. You know, I have another retreat coming up in November, and I've had to work against the fear energy about the fact that it starts 2 days just after the election. Oh my gosh, things are going to be crazy, and they may well be. But what this retreat brings is empowerment and learning more about managing our own energy and keeping our vibration higher and being the writer of our story along with creator, rather than being thrown in the winds of all this tumult and change and being tossed from side to side. When we can manage our own energy, stand in our own power, and cultivate that on a regular basis, we stay more firm and grounded, and we need to be that in the world. The last the last dragon card is the Playmate. A little bit easier card here, just a fun, gentle card. And I suspect, I don't use these cards. I like them, but I haven't used them a lot. Now is the time to play. Whether you're working on a goal, busy with achievement, or attempting to make a major discovery, stop and play. It can seem counterintuitive, but play is the highest form of research. It leads to untold new insights, inventions, and flat out joy. And joy is expansive. The last video I talked about joy and how we can maintain our joy amidst all of this. And that is absolutely how we can be powerful in our own life, is maintaining the higher vibration. We don't stop playing because we grow old. We grow old because we stop playing. And that is so true. You know, I have a very playful spirit, and I live with my lovely, lovely partner, husband of 42 years, who's got no play left in him. He had very little play to start with. But as he's grown older, his focus has been on decline. And there is not a playful spirit. I don't know why that cropped up. And so I can see that in a very real way on a regular basis. We want to play more, you know, put together a game night with some friends, do some things you love to do just because you love to do them. I hope that's not popping up on my screen, because this message that the file can't be found. Nobody seems to be looking for one, but what have you. So the last card that is coming up in this, how do we navigate all this craziness that we are living in right now? The Crow. That's just one card. These are very thick cards. The Crow has come up. That is card number 13. Let's see what the Crow is about. I don't know that I've ever pulled this card before. The Crow is the keeper of universal law, the law of truth. Crow teaches us to walk our talk, to find congruence between who we say we are and who we really know ourselves to be. The winged one insists that we speak truth, that we create truth instead of searching for it, and that we bring truth to every situation we find ourselves in. When you speak the truth and practice truth, eventually everything you say becomes true. Your power to co-create with the truth is the universal law. Correct what is untrue in your life without judgment. Let the truth set you free. And that's, you know, it's really important, the without judgment. We want to be very accepting of who we are in all aspects. That doesn't mean we don't have things we know can change and improve. It means we accept us for where we are and how we've come to this place. Beating ourselves up is not anything that is going to help us. We can look at what we perceive as our failings and our inabilities in life, but we want to hold true to the fact that we are all things, and sometimes we behave and perform better than others. We want to let those go, apologize, make amends when we need to, but constantly seek your truth. I have an appointment on Friday and realized I double booked something. I'm going to change that today. And I am very conscientious about no longer speaking white lies. And I initially went, oh, maybe I'll just tell him I'm just not really feeling well today. On Friday, it was like, just change the appointment today. But that thing did set in. It's like, it'd be easier just to, it's like, ignore that I need to change it, and do a white lie. White lies cost us. Being true, bringing in truth, speaking your truth frees you up inside from that weightiness that you don't need. There's enough coming at us. We don't want to be creating more for ourselves. So speak your truth, regardless of somebody, if somebody else is going to like it or not. I find myself, I don't always do that with my husband. I have to be very aware of that, because he is so pretty much opposite me in energy a lot, that my go-to as a child was to hide how I felt, hide what I wanted, hide and figure out a way to get it otherwise. And that's powerlessness. And if you followed me for any length of time, I'm all about empowerment, standing in our power, living from our power. That is where God wants us to be, because then we are truly working with God on a regular basis with the very thing he created us as, our energy, to be in power in our life and start shaping more of what we want and less of what we don't want. So as we navigate this very tumultuous time that we are in, that is going to be more tumultuous as we, particularly in the US, and where the US goes, the world will follow. And so it does affect all these other countries as well, whatever happens in our country. And I do feel there are very, very powerful forces that would like to keep us in slavery and increase that dependence on the powers that be for everything that we are. And we want to diminish that. And we can do that first by standing in our power, holding that higher vibration, bringing in our divine helpers and power on a regular basis. So I think we are complete for this morning. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm Victoria Savage, Nurse Savage, on your side. Your wisdom